Guys, it's Mikey with MMB Barbecue. We got to interview the man behind the bomb in Chicago. I mean, I am super stoked. He is the man behind Patty Long's, the man behind Kaiser Tiger. If you're any type of foodie in Chicago, you totally know what this is. If you're any type of foodie at all, you should know what this is. He's been on a couple different TV shows. So I had the pleasure of sitting down with the owner, Patrick, of Patty Long's and Kaiser Tiger. We did it at Kaiser Tiger, so there was a couple interruptions, but guess what? We're not editing those out. We're having total fun with it. We were upstairs. There's probably a little bit of music overplaying from downstairs. They were super busy down there. It was right before a Hawks game. So, needless to say, I got to sit down with him. We talked a little bit about bacon, beer, and all things barbecue. So, fuck. Without further ado, here's the interview, guys. What's up, guys? It's Mikey with MMB Barbecue, and we are here with the owner of Kaiser Tiger and Patty Long's Bacon and Barbecue joint? No, it's bacon and beer. Sorry.
Bacon and beer.
Bacon and beer, my bad. Which we all love, bacon and beer. There's nothing better.
They go together well.
When you mix the two, it's beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful thing. It is. It sells itself.
So what got you into cooking? You make the bomb, which if nobody knows what the bomb is, go to their website, go look it up. It's this beautiful, beautiful bacon and sausage and ground beef masterpiece.
Yes, it's like a spicy meatloaf stuffed with bacon and wrapped in a bacon weave.
Now, when you guys made when you made the first one, did you think it was going to be a hit?
No. We made a lot of them. I probably made about 20 before I really got the recipe down and the cooking technique to make sure that it's, moist and cooked all the way through and all the rest of it. So, no, and then there was also the whole idea of serving it in a restaurant. We didn't invent the bacon wrapped stuffed meatloaf. It's been on the internet for years. People call it the bacon explosion, the bacon bomb, whatever. But I think we're the only people serving it in a restaurant setting. It's usually something you do at home. So we had to sort of figure out, do people want this big giant thing on their table, and are they willing to wait 45 minutes while we, heat one up properly and all the rest of it? It turns out they do. So,
now, do you guys cook them and then make them to order, or how do you guys?
We do. So sometimes they're in the smoker being held, like maybe they were, made for service on a really busy night, and then we just pull them off as people buy them. But especially at Patty Long's, because it's a very, very small kitchen, we pre-make them and then we heat them up.
Okay.
That's why it takes about 45 minutes to
heat
it through, yeah.
To heat it through those, and believe me, I've had one. They're super nice and thick, and I think if you don't heat it up properly, it will go crazy. We are actually recording at the top of the restaurant, so if you're walking through, we don't care. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. We just keep going. We are on site at Kaiser Tiger, guys. If you've never been here, they have some of the coolest views in the city, honestly. And they have great food, great craft beer. If you're here in the winter, which if you're here in the winter, you're psychotic because it's Chicago. But they have
gluttons for punishment.
Exactly. They have one of the coolest things ever. They literally froze the beer patio.
Yes.
And put a
curling
rink in it.
Yeah.
You are the only ones I think I've ever seen a curling rink at.
I've never seen it. It was kind of a crazy idea. It worked.
It worked really well.
It worked.
It was awesome.
We were probably the only people in Chicago with a packed beer garden when it was 10
degrees outside.
10 degrees below zero, I think, on one day. One night, and it was crazy busy out there. My phone gave off a temperature warning that it was going to shut down because it was too cold. I had to bring my phone inside.
But yet there were people outside curling.
There were people outside curling, yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm loving it.
Now, what made you guys bring a curling rink?
We just wanted to utilize that space. We have this giant beer garden and just thought it was kind of going to waste in the winter. And my business partners, we were brainstorming things to do out there. He said curling. I I knew he had never curled. I had certainly never curled. But he, was very insistent. He found this company that builds like backyard skating rinks.
Okay.
Asked them if they would come build a curling rink. They're like, we never have, but sure,
we won't.
It should work.
It's ice.
Same thing, yeah. It's ice.
Now, where do you get the curling
the stones?
The stones.
Well, we started out. We found some YouTube videos of crazy Canadians making them themselves, and so that was a big couple-day long project of filling basically metal salad bowls with concrete and placing pipes in there for the handles and all this. And they worked great. It was very cheap. Real curling stones are granite, and they're wildly expensive.
I could imagine, yeah.
We did not want to, and we didn't even know if this was going to work. We didn't know if anyone was ever going to curl at Kaiser Tiger, so we weren't going to
spend a bunch of money,
right?
And then people would be like, "Well, I don't want to go outside; it's freezing."
Yeah, or it just wasn't going to work, or wasn't going to be fun. Or turned out it's really fun, skillful game that you can do while you drink, and so then
it's like bowling on ice.
When that really sub temperature, when it was 10 below zero, those things started to fall apart. Those homemade ones. So we went ahead and had real stones shipped from Canada when splashed out.
Okay.
Now they're still not like Olympic size. They are what's called junior stones.
Okay.
They're meant for children and or drunk people.
Children and or drunk people.
Yes, but they're nice. They look great. They work much better than the homemade ones, and they're indestructible. So we'll have them.
So obviously this will be a continuing.
This will be a continue. Yeah, next year we're going to make it bigger and better. We're actually purchasing a cooling blanket that will keep the ice cold from Halloween all the way to St. Patrick's Day.
Woo!
Yeah.
So you're expanding your season nicely.
We're expanding
the curling season.
Yeah.
Now, when people started getting into curling with you guys and seeing it and having fun with it, did it just kind of spread like wildfire? Did people just start talking about it?
It did.
Were they like...
Yeah. The internet loves curling, apparently.
The internet likes a lot of things.
It does. A lot of weird things. Kittens, curling.
Curling, it's all great.
Star Wars. And people just started sharing it and tweeting about it, and then the WGN came out and did a live remote, and then it was on the cover of Red Eye, and I guess it was just something people had never seen at a bar before, so they were...
Yeah, I can honestly, besides maybe in Canada...
I'm sure it's got to happen in Canada, right?
I hope so.
I know.
Now, do you think anyone's going to try stealing that from you? There's a lot of beer gardens around.
Maybe, sure. If they can do that, that's then we'll have competitions. We'll challenge them to a game of curling.
Ooh, that sounds like even more fun.
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot of fun.
People are welcome to steal it. It's it's always a compliment. Hey, Chris.
Hey guys, how are you?
My business partner, Chris. We're doing a podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're all fine.
Yeah, how are you? How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt. Sorry.
No, it's all good. That was Chris. Chris is
my business partner. He is the mastermind behind the curling.
He's the mastermind behind the curling, guys. Yeah. So you just heard his voice. He's an awesome individual because he made curling possible in Chicago. Now, in the food aspect, we'll go a little bit backtrack into that. You started making the bombs.
Yes. So we were revamping the menu at Patty Long's. Wanted it to be very bacon centric, even more than it was when we started, and that was a internet sensation that we'd all seen, the bacon explosion, and thought we'd try our hand at it. And like I said, I didn't think it was going to be the most popular item on the menu by any means, or but then very soon after we started serving it, we were Chicago's Best came out and filmed, and that's all they wanted to film was making the bomb, and then a whole succession of TV shows came out, and apparently me weaving bacon on camera is good TV.
Oh, I think anyone weaving bacon
probably
on camera is great TV.
Bacon weaving is high ratings apparently, and so it just kind of snowballed from there, and then it became what we were known for, and people travel from all over the country. Some people travel from different countries to have it. So
that's insane.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great for us. Yeah.
What do you guys see as being next? Is there anything you're going to start? You're kind of working with?
As far as food goes, I am working on a new menu where, there's going to be more bacon involved.
More bacon. That's beautiful.
We're going to premiere a new bacon item at Bacon Fest this year. It is bacon wrapped onion rings, beer battered onion rings.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yep, another thing that's flown around the internet quite a bit. We tried our hands at it last week, and it's pretty delicious. So we're going to serve that at Bacon Fest. We're also doing some bacon s'mores, where we make bacon marshmallows.
Okay, what goes into making a bacon marshmallow?
Same as a regular marshmallow, and then you add bacon bits.
Bacon?
Yeah. We found really burnt, crumbled bacon bits, just added into the marshmallow as it's setting, and then we make a bacon chocolate bark. So we basically just, melt some chocolate and add crispy bacon in there, little pieces, and then let it.
Sounds delicious.
Spread it out on a cookie sheet, let it cool, and then that's your little chocolate bar for your s'more, and roast it all up and shove it between 2 graham crackers. Forget about it.
That sounds awesome. That I've never heard of that, and that sounds awesome.
It should be good. Yeah.
Now, is that going to become on the menu here?
That will be a dessert menu here. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. They'll both be on the menu here, and probably the onion ring will be also at Patty Long's. I'm not sure if the little kitchen over there can handle another fried item, but
another fried item.
Yeah, we just have one little fryer over there.
Well, Patty Long's is a little bit smaller of a space.
It is.
You guys have expanded dramatically.
Yes.
Kaiser Tiger is in the West Loop of Chicago, Illinois, guys. So if you're looking for it, you got to come down to Randolph Street.
1415 West Randolph.
Exactly. Come on down. You guys got Instagram. I know you guys got Facebook. You guys got a website and all that. So you can check all that stuff out. If you're from out of town, make sure you go to Chicago and come here. It doesn't matter where else you're going. Coming here is a big one. This restaurant is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So,
thank you.
What got you into barbecue?
I started working at a barbecue restaurant when I was about 13, 14. I was a dishwasher and worked my way up into the pit. And that's certainly where I learned my barbecuing technique. And then just, obviously I'm an avid home barbecue nut. I've got half my backyard is just filled with smokers. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's basically, I grew up in St. Louis, so there's a big barbecue tradition there.
Absolutely.
And with our pork steaks and our St. Louis ribs and all the rest. That's basically how it worked. I wouldn't, I never think of Patty Long's or Kaiser Tiger as really a barbecue place. We do, we smoke a lot of stuff, but we're certainly not a traditional barbecue restaurant.
I would say that's true. You're not traditional barbecue, but
No.
it's good food, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to one day open a traditional barbecue place. I think it became kind of really, especially when Chris and I were ready to open up a second place, there were kind of barbecue places popping up left, right, and center, and I didn't want to.
Didn't want to go for one.
Yeah, I thought it was being overdone. But as all trends go, I'm sure at some point Chicago will need another barbecue place. Right now, I don't think it does.
Right now, I don't think. You know what? I would love. There's a couple of places.
It needs another really good one.
It needs a really good one. It needs
Yeah.
a true traditional one.
It does. I mean, we've got our smoke out. Luckily, I live by smoke, so.
Okay, I used to live right over by Smoke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm down. I'm on Portage Park, so.
Okay, perfect.
We go there a lot. They catered my youngest son's baptism. Smoke is
Smoke's
phenomenal.
a great place.
Yeah,
Yes.
they really do a nice job.
Have you ever gone to Rub?
I haven't. I've heard about
You
it.
need to go to Rub.
Yeah.
It's up
Is that Rogers Park?
It's Rogers Park.
I'm never up there.
Make a trip.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I promise.
It's on my list.
They
for
got
sure.
some good food. Now, when you said you were 13, 14 when you started that.
Yep.
Started doing that. Was it just a traditional Hickory?
It was.
pit?
It was 100% Hickory. Real deal. It was a giant pit. It was a very busy place. Had had a drive-through along with a big dining room.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'd have a line, for the drive-through that would go out in the street. And but the pit itself was very cool. It was basically a 10 by 10 foot wrought iron grill that was totally encased in brick, and you would have these big wrought iron doors you would open to access it, and then the fire door and down into the sub-basement and open up wrought iron doors down there, and then on the concrete floor we just had a never-ending hickory flame, hickory fire that you would feed every morning. We used to get a ton of hickory logs a week.
Just
and
ship them.
Yeah. And a big a dump truck would come in the parking lot and it would dump it in the middle of the parking lot. And then when I was the dishwasher, part of my job was stacking hickory every week. And I was young and not the smartest person in the world. And I remember my manager would go, "Okay, Pat, I'm timing you on the stack. You did it in 37 minutes last week. Let's see if we can beat that." And I'd be like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to beat it this week, man. Beating it, and go out there and stack wood like a maniac. But as all good things, it was called Trotters. Wild Bill Trotter was the owner. Crazy Missouri. I'm from Missouri. I think he was from Missouri.
Missouri.
It's a different state. But Wild Bill sold it, and of course. This was after I'd moved away and went to college up here, but he sold it, and the bean counters looked at it and said, "Oh my God, we're spending how much money on hickory every week? Fuck that. We're gonna put in one of those gas things that burns like sawdust or
the pellet cookers."
Yep.
Yeah,
and the
product just kind of went down.
It was incredibly noticeable. I always say if you can't smell a barbecue place before you go in there, then it's probably not that good. And suddenly, Trotters went from you'd be able to smell it from half a mile away into you'd be at the front door and
there's
smell
nothing.
Nothing.
So what brought you up to Chicago? Because kind of came up here.
I came up here for college. Went to college at Loyola. Yeah, married a girl from the South Side. Never thought about going home. I love Chicago. I didn't really pick Loyola as a college. I picked Chicago as a place to go to
as
college.
A place to go, and then you were like, which one?
We came up here to visit, and I was just enamored with the city, and I remember my mom was like, "So, what do you think about Loyola?" I'm like, Chicago's great. I love it. Loyola? Oh yeah, it's good too. It's in Chicago.
No, that's fine. Yeah. She could have said any school. What do you think of DePaul? DePaul's great.
Yeah, it could have been DePaul. I didn't even know. So, I love this city so much. It has everything going on, and every type of food, every type of person, every type of bar, and not only that, but really high quality stuff. I mean, I really feel Chicago is the most competitive, best restaurant scene going on in this country right now. And it might be a bold statement, but while I think New York has obviously more of everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have as many quality mom and pop places, as many quality mid-range places as Chicago. I think if you are not a very good restaurant in this city, you are doomed. You are closed in 6 months.
Yep.
I think in New York you can probably be a crappy place and
survive for a little longer.
Yeah, but not
so
here.
many people.
We don't stand for it. It's it is. We take our food unbelievably serious here.
I agree with you. We have a lot of foodies, a lot of crazy people that eat here.
Yeah.
Now, what got you into the restaurant industry? What made you wanna?
I just always
join that crazy industry.
I always did it, to make money. I remember that first job I got was 'cause I wanted a stereo, and I had the most bitchin' stereo of any 14-year-old I knew.
That's how it all starts.
Yeah, that's how it starts. You want to make money, and then I ended up getting a degree in archaeology. I just wasn't. I think passionate enough about it to go to grad school and all the rest of it. I also wasn't probably that great of a student, I mean, the archaeology part was great. I spent 4 summers in Syria digging up an ancient city, and if that's all you did, I'd be I'd still be doing archaeology. But apparently there's a lot of reading and studying that goes along with it, and I wasn't so into. Yeah,
I'm out.
So I went back to the only thing I knew, and I was I got very, very into beer at an early age, and said, well, I'm not going to go to grad school. I'm going to get a job at a brewery. And that's what I did. But I knew how to work in a restaurant, so I ended up, front of house at several brew pubs around Chicago, in Chicago and around. It was the 90s in Chicago, so no one cared about craft beer.
A lot of places in the 90s didn't care about craft beer, not just Chicago, I would say.
Yeah, Chicago was way behind, though, and only one of the places even made it out of the 90s. But, I was good at it, and figured I would just go with what I knew. And then basically got to the point where the only way I was going to get a leg up in this business if I opened my own place. And so I did.
Although it's a little bit scary.
It was very scary, and it was kind of a leg down the first few years, but it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
So, when you opened your first place, were you cooking for it, or were you just managing and doing all that kind of stuff for it?
I've always formulated the menu, but I've never been the guy back in the kitchen at Patty Long's. That's always been. I've always been behind the bar. So when we first opened, I took a guy who was my bar back at my previous job. He was the best bar back you've ever seen. Angel is his name. And I said, Angel, why don't I teach you how to cook, and you be the new chef at my new place? He's like, oh, I've never worked in a kitchen. I'm a bar back. It's like, yeah, but I think you'll catch on. You're a smart guy. And he did, and he's, to this day, he's still my chef over at Patty Long's.
Ooh, okay.
He is, one of those guys where you show him how to do it once, and he does it better the second time he does it, so I've been very lucky in that regard there. And so when we first opened, I actually was the general manager and bartender. I bartended 5 nights a week.
Ooh, and that's a rough one.
Yeah, I was the last one out of there, and it's what you have to do when you start a small business. You got to be in there. Yeah, I have not bartended in almost 2 years now, and I thought that was my life for a long time. I thought I was going to miss it, but I kind of don't. Kind of don't.
Now, we talked earlier. Obviously, Kaiser Tiger. You can bring sausages home, and I've done that.
Yeah,
and they're delicious. They do all kinds of basically kind of gourmet sausages.
Yes. Yeah.
So now, did you guys do that at Patty Long's? Do you guys do that? Or
we don't. No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't have the sausage aspect there. That was something new that we brought here. Sausage making was a hobby of mine even before Patty Long's. I had that KitchenAid attachment with the food grinder and the sausage stuffer. Yeah, and. Making sausage at home on that thing, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but...
is it? Because I just got one, and I'm
going to
start doing it, but...
It's totally worth it. It's, homemade sausage just tastes better, and you can control the ingredients in there. I mean,
yeah.
That's one of the things that scares people about sausage. They don't know what's in it, and to some degree, that's, truth. Yeah, you should be a little bit scared, but when you make it at your house, you know exactly what's in there.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and we thought maybe we could incorporate it into the menu here, and worked out some recipes, and it all worked out.
Now, obviously sausages go a lot faster in the summer than they do in the winter.
They do.
You do sell them year round. That's fine.
Yep.
What went into creating that aspect of it? Being okay, so we're going to sell sausages. Did you know exactly which ones you wanted to sell? Or were you I'm going to kind of make a couple and see which ones sell and then keep going from there?
Yeah, I mean, I came out, I think we started with, 6 or 7 sausages on the menu. Didn't know which one was, well, I had a good feeling that beer and bacon sausage was going to be the number one seller, and it still is. Not only is it delicious, but you put beer and bacon on
anything, and it pretty much sells.
It does pretty much sell. So, we knew that one was going to be a big hit. We've switched out a few since we've opened. It's been a year, but we're getting ready to do a new menu. I'm working on an elk sausage.
Okay.
The bison was so popular, I think people like the idea of game sausages and exotic meats in their sausage. So, even though bison and elk are not the best meats to put in sausage because they're so lean, you do end up just adding a ton of fat.
You kind of have to. Otherwise, it's just going to be.
When we came up with that bison,
shoe leather.
It will. When we started the bison thing, I was like, all right, I'm going to start with 20% fat, and the rest, and that it was dry as a bone. Went up to 30%, went up to 40%. It's 50% fat now.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of that renders out.
A lot of it renders out because we smoke it, and a lot of it comes out in the smoker, which is another reason you have to put so much in,
Yeah,
and then it renders out again when you grill it. So, that being said, it's wildly popular, and I think the elk one will do well too. It's a very similar meat.
Yeah. Now, are you going to start with about that same ratio with the elk run?
Yeah, I'm going to go straight to the 50.
Straight to the 50 and just be like, I'm not messing around. I'm not going to do the 20. I'm not going to do the 30.
I mean, unless the elk comes in fatty, I don't think it will though.
I don't know.
I got my first batch, and it's as red and lean as the bison. I mean, when we grind that bison, it is like there's no fat in it whatsoever. It's just blood red. I mean,
and you're like, okay, awesome. I have to add something.
Bucket of red. Yeah. You do. You have to.
And now, when people, what would you recommend if somebody wanted to get into making sausage at home? What kind of recommendations would you give them? I
mean, definitely the KitchenAid attachment is that's the only way I've done it at home. Make friends with a butcher because they will almost always have sausage casings. Okay. And sometimes they'll just give them to you for free, but they're rarely for sale under the counter. So, if you got a rapport with your butcher, you can be like, hey, you got any casings back there? And, they usually do. Also, they'll be happy to grind meat for you too. Having a relationship with your butcher is just so key.
It's important. It's a big importance.
And if you can have him run it through the grinder, it takes him about, 2 minutes. Might take you 30 minutes at home.
Yeah.
To run it all through. So, have them do that, and then just have fun with it, and realize you have to have a lot of fat in there. Don't try to make a lean sausage. It just won't turn out
I'm going to go lean. I want to be healthy.
Yes. Sausage is not healthy. Well, fat is good for you now, right? I don't know. I can't keep up with the trends.
I can't keep up. At 1 minute they're like, don't eat this, now eat that, don't do that.
Yeah, if fat and beer ever become healthy for me, then I will live forever.
You are the healthiest human ever.
The healthiest human I know.
Now, you guys have a great array of craft beers. What do you guys ever do the beer in pairing with different bacons or?
We do. So we do a beer and bacon pairing at both places, Kaiser and Patty's. On the weekends, and I pair 5 different cuts of bacon with 5 different beers. We've been doing it a long time. It is, I can't believe it's still as popular as it is.
It's beer and bacon. It'll never go away.
I know, and it really is. I mean, it's such a simple idea, but it really, they go together fantastically. It's a fun event. People are just shoving bacon in their mouth and drinking beer, and I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't.
I remember when we first started doing it, it was such a hit. The very first one at Patty Long's was standing room only, and and I was explaining it to my dad afterwards, and he was like, "So, it's just bacon?" I'm like, "Yeah, just sliced bacon." He's like, do you get bread with it? Is it a sandwich?" I'm like, "No, it's just bacon. It's fucking bacon.
Literally, just bacon."
Yeah, and he couldn't wrap his head around it.
He was like, is it an entree? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope,
yeah.
just bacon. Just a plate of bacon.
No, it's just about a dozen pieces of bacon, some beer. So yeah, it's been wildly popular. We also at Patty Long's we have a little mini flight. You can get 3 bacons paired with 3 beers anytime you want.
Super cool.
Yeah, and just do your own little mini tasting right there. So yeah, it's fun. Smoked, salted, cured pork belly and beer. It's like
there's nothing better.
Nothing better.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys cure your own pork belly, or have you guys thought about doing your own?
Yeah. Not all of it, especially
a lot.
At Patty Long's, we go through 200 pounds of bacon a week, and I would never be able to keep up with the production. And as I said before, Patty's is a tiny little kitchen.
Yeah.
So we usually have 5 or 6 bacons on hand at all times. And
now, what are the 5? What would you say are the 5 different ones?
The one that we make in house is a hot smoked cured pepper bacon.
Okay.
Then, actually, sorry, that's the one we make in house here at Kaiser. The one at Patty's, we make a hot smoked Danish bacon, which is basically just like a double smoked pork belly, fully cooked in the smoker.
Okay.
We cure it for about a week. Then we have an Irish bacon, which is back bacon, unsmoked cured back bacon. We have a country jowl bacon. Might be my favorite one.
Okay.
From the face of the pig. That comes from a little specialty smokehouse down in Missouri. And then we have a lamb bacon here at Kaiser. We do a lamb belly bacon.
I don't think I've ever had lamb bacon.
It's lammy. You gotta like lamb.
It's lammy.
Gamey, yeah. But we cure that and smoke that here in house, and I roll it up like a pancetta because it's like the lamb bellies are small.
Okay.
So we roll it up, and it comes in like a circular disc once we slice it. What else do we do? I'm blanking out on our other bacons. The Danish, the pepper, the Irish, the lamb, the jowl. Sometimes we do a pancetta. So yeah, that's about it.
It's a lot of bacon.
It's a lot of bacon. A lot of bacon. Yeah.
So you said Patty's goes through 200 pounds a week?
Yeah, and it's a little tiny bar. So
how many pounds does Kaiser go through?
That's a good question. I've never done the food ordering here. I do have a chef. I used to do the food ordering at Patty's, so I knew
That's
that
how
number.
You know?
Yeah, probably 2 to 3 times what we go through at Patty's, because we do about 3 times the business here. So
you're looking at like 600 pounds of bacon.
Yeah, it's a lot of belly.
I'm pretty sure you have the biggest bacon bill in the country. I can't see anybody else beating that. That is a lot of bacon.
Yeah, I have that jowl bacon shipped up, specifically for me. And when I called the owner of the company, I didn't know I was calling you. I just called the number on the package when I picked it up, and
it was just him. Like,
it was him. Yeah. The owner picked up Rodney. He's he's from Missouri. Missouri. He's like, "You're doing what with that bacon? What do you do?" I said, "Well, we're doing these beer and bacon tastes. I'd like to have your jowl bacon on there." It's like, people just eating it? I'm like, yes, they're just eating it.
Once again, there he's also confused.
He was like, that jowl bacon is just used by old ladies for soups and stews. I was like, well, not anymore.
Not anymore. We're gonna eat it.
Yeah, and it is the fattiest one we have, and probably the most popular.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he was just completely baffled.
Yeah, and to get it up here, he has to ship up a pallet. He's like, you're not going to go through a pallet of this in a month.
Watch me?
Yeah. Now that I have another restaurant, I go through 2 or 3 pallets a month. So
you're keeping him busy. And
he loves us. Yeah,
he loves you.
Yeah. He came and visited. He was.
I was going to say, has he ever come up?
He has. He was in for the food show a few years ago. He came to Patty Long's, and great guy.
Was he baffled though at like how many people just eating random bacon?
Yes. Yeah, he thought it was hilarious.
The first time I ever heard of it, there was a restaurant out in Elgin that was doing beer and bacon. They were doing it on like Tuesdays. They were just like, it's all the bacon you can eat. And it was just regular American bacon.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, as long as you're drinking, it's all the bacon you can eat. So I was like, sounds delicious.
The first time I heard about anything like that, there was this place in Lakeview called the Prodigal Son.
Okay.
We all laughed because it died in a grease fire. But what they used to do was free bacon after midnight, I think on Saturdays, or it was one night a week.
Okay.
And, the place would be packed, and then they would just pass around baskets of bacon. And people, this is a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago, before the bacon trend was anything.
Bacon.
And yeah, that was the first time I'd ever heard of any such a thing. But I kept it in the back of my mind,
And it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Now, when you're cooking your bacon, are you making it straight onto just a flat top?
We do at Patty's. We don't have an oven at Patty's. It's a very small kitchen. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah,
very small. But here we have an oven, so we bake it off here. Yeah, I think that's really the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It just comes out perfect every time.
Now, do you put a sheet on top of it, like a little rack thing on top of it to hold it down?
We don't. No,
Does it ever curl up on you?
Not too bad. If I want the really straight pieces, I actually do that on the flat top. We do it for the bacon Bloody Marys.
Okay.
So I want just a really crispy flat piece. We'll do that on the flat top with a weight on top of it, and then the important thing is to press it on a towel after you're done.
Okay.
And then press it out on a towel, and you'll instantly have a rock hard, straight piece of bacon.
So if you want to learn how to cook a straight piece of bacon, that's how you do it, folks.
That is how you do it.
Do you have any other
shoving
tips?
a Bloody Mary.
Do you have any other tips on cooking bacon?
Don't overcook it. People, I am a big proponent of not overcooking bacon. Everyone wants it crispy. Can you make it crispy? Can you make it crispy? And crispy bacon is fine, but when you have 5 different slices of bacon, 5 different cuts in front of you, and if you cook it all till it's burnt, you're really not going to taste the difference between any of them. Yeah. And some of my bacons you can eat. They're not raw; they're smoked, but you could eat it cold. It wouldn't hurt you. So I like to leave some of that. It's not rubbery, but some of that
texture.
Some of that texture where it's more toothsome. Toothsome, is that a word?
I don't know, but it sounds great. We're gonna keep it. That's awesome. I think a lot of people do say, "Hey, I want it really crunchy. I want it really crunchy."
Yeah.
Not all bacon.
You just end up with like jerky,
Yeah, pretty much. Let me get that really hard, crunchy bacon.
I think you taste more if you.
Well, you don't really fully taste it when it's super crunchy. I mean, you crunch into it, and it's just like, oh, okay,
right,
crunch, crunch, crunch,
right,
and then a little bit of taste comes out.
Yep.
It needs just that little bit of. It needs to have some of that grease in it.
It does.
Now, do you guys do anything with your bacon grease?
Yeah, we infuse bourbon with it, which is we've done some other things. I'm thinking about a bacon grease grilled cheese on the new menu where it's just cooked in bacon fat.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It sounds horribly like you should not let your doctor...
Just to disappoint all the vegetarians, who are like, oh, the grilled cheese, is that your only veggie option? Well, actually, it's cooked in bacon fat, so no.
No. So, yeah, you can't eat that either.
We're not kind of vegetarians, I'm afraid.
I mean, do you really get people coming in here asking you for vegetarian?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Really? Do they read the sign?
They, their friends drag them here, probably, we try to have something for them, but it's few and far between.
I don't get it. I don't understand vegetarians. Don't send me hate mail. You're probably not listening to the show if you're a vegetarian.
They're not. Yeah, none of them are listening. No one from PETA is listening to this podcast. So.
No, I'm fine. Talk about animals and everything. It's great. The new menu sounds awesome. It really does.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still got some work to do on it, trying to sort it all out. But that's the fun part of the job.
The tasting,
the research and development, the R&D.
What'd you do today? Well, I made a bunch of grilled cheese sandwiches and cooked them in bacon fat. How'd you like them? Some of them are okay.
That's right. Yeah, I don't have it down yet. I need to cook more.
Now, are you going with like thick slices of bread on that, or?
Yeah. It would be like Texas toast.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, probably be better with some bacon slices in there. Yeah. Anyway. Well.
Yeah, that's okay. See, there's more research and development that you got to go with.
I know.
So, we'll kind of start closing it up. What are 3 you can do cooking or barbecue tips that you would give some of our listeners?
Charcoal is better than gas. Don't buy a gas grill, because if you do, you will never fire up the charcoal again. I've seen it happen a million times, because we're all lazy creatures just by nature. And if I had a gas grill at home, I guarantee that's all I would be ever cooking on. Oh, I don't feel like starting the coals,
Yeah, let me just...
Yeah, so just don't buy one. Just
leave it alone.
Don't have the temptation. What else? Experiment with woods. So I grew up on all that hickory barbecue. It took me a long time to realize that when you switch up the wood, you get a lot of different flavors and a lot of really great flavors.
Some other things,
yeah, and there are other things than hickory wood. I being from St. Louis, I didn't know that. So lately, that's what I do a lot of experimentation with.
And the smokers here, they use oak and cherry, correct?
Yeah, a lot of cherry. I have a neighbor with a peach tree.
That you're trying to cut down?
Well, I cut down a little bit of it every year, and with his permission. And
he's gonna wake up one morning, there's no peach tree.
Well, he trims it every year. I mean, the first year, when I saw him trimming, I was like, "Oh, let me have all the scraps." And
he's like, "Okay."
The peach wood is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see it much
up here.
Sure.
George is a big peach wood.
Oh, okay. So that's the tradition in Georgia, huh?
Yeah, Georgia's big peach barbecue.
I'm down with it. It's phenomenal. So I've been doing like a little hickory cherry peach mix and stuff like that. Mix your woods, and wood's important. It doesn't.
It hits that flavor. Yeah.
They're not all the same. And you can overdo it too with the wood. Remember that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of mesquite.
I'm not either. Just because it was
heavy flavor.
It gives heavy, like ashy and kind of bitter flavors, but it's also just so ubiquitous. Mesquite barbecue and the mesquite flavor that we're all just trying to do something different.
I'm just over it.
Yeah,
can't do it anymore. Now, what kind of cookers do you have at home? That's the one question we didn't ask.
All Webers.
All Webers.
Yeah, I'm a Weber guy.
All Webers, huh?
Uh-huh.
You got the kettle?
I've got a small kettle, a big kettle, and the bullet.
Do you have the Smoky Mountain bullet, right?
Yeah, the big one. And then I do have a barrel smoker. That's not it. That is not a. That's a charbroil. Charbroil,
yeah.
I believe is the brand on that one.
Side box.
With the side box, yeah. I haven't had as much luck with that one, to be honest. I don't use it very often. But it's big.
But it's big, and you can put a lot of product on it.
You can put a lot of product on it, yeah.
What's your favorite thing to cook at home?
Ribs. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's mostly...
Spare or baby back?
Only spare ribs. I don't do baby back. I'm from St. Louis.
I don't do the other cuts.
Only spare ribs for me.
Do you cut them down to a St. Louis spare?
I don't, though. No, I like to leave the tips on, and then I cut them down after I cook them.
Okay. I've been talking to more and more people, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I thought I was weird because people were like, "Why didn't you, cut them off?" And I was like, "Well, I just rather cook them fully and then get rid of it." And they're like, "No, you got to do it the other way."
Well, the other way you, especially in like competitions and all that stuff,
yeah,
you get a more even. The short end will cook at the same time as the long end. I don't care so much about that.
You're not cooking for competition.
I'm not cooking for competition.
It's okay.
And I like my rib tips, and it's just easier to just cook them on the thing and then cut them off. That's what people used to do.
Exactly, and the funny thing is, if anyone knows Chicago barbecue, which Chicago barbecue is not known for anything except for rib tips.
It is.
That's
it is
really
known for rib tips.
Rib tips is like what brought Chicago on the map.
Absolutely, yeah. Got to go to the south side for
you
rib tips.
You got to go good south side for good rib tips.
Yes.
If you're from out of town, don't go to the south side for rib tips.
But it also is a time factor for me because I can get my ribs done in 2.5, 3 hours. I very rarely do I have 12 or 14 hours to
cook
to do
do a long smoke.
Yeah, I got 3 kids and 2 bars, and
you're a busy
I'm
man.
lucky if I have 2 to 3 hours to cook some ribs. So I would like to get brisket's hard. It's very hard.
It is.
I would like to practice my brisket more. Pork shoulder's easy.
Pork shoulder, yeah.
Pound the crap out of it. It's probably going to be okay. There's so much fat in there.
Just put her in there, leave her alone for
Yeah, but I think we all know brisket
14 hours.
That is the king meat. That is
a
meat
hard one.
that if you can cook brisket, you are a master.
It is the backyard barbecue's nemesis.
Absolutely.
Brisket, getting that thing tender.
Yep.
Making sure it doesn't taste like shoe leather.
And making sure it's not dry. Yeah.
Or not making sure it's not too dry or not done enough. And
Yep.
there's that very fine
You gotta baby
line.
it. You gotta have the spray bottle going and all that.
Very fine line of brisket. Now, was brisket big in St. Louis at all?
No. We did do it at the restaurant.
Just wasn't a big.
It wasn't the star of the show. It was all ribs. Ribs were the star. But yeah, we did do it. One thing that we always did that I see other people not doing is we did not trim it.
Trim the brisket at all?
We did not trim it at all before we cooked it.
Okay.
All the trimming took place afterwards. So like that eye of fat and all the fat on the outside, we left that on, and I really think that that helps. You get so many people who are cutting the brisket in half and doing
just taking the flat and doing that.
Yep, and I think that's way harder to do. I mean, you want to leave all the fat on there you can.
Yeah, absolutely. That fat cap. When you trim too much of it down, it just doesn't work out well.
Exactly.
Fat doesn't render in, doesn't keep it moist.
Exactly. Yeah.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Yeah, love talking food.
Awesome. So if people are trying to find Patty Long's or Kaiser Tiger, internet's place to go.
PattyLongs.com, KaiserTiger.com. Patty Long's 1028 West Diversey in the Lakeview neighborhood. Kaiser Tiger in the West Loop, 1415 West Randolph. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We have websites.
They're on Instagram. I know that.
We are on Instagram. Yes.
So go find them. Go follow them. There's some cool food, some great stuff. And now you guys are going to Bacon Fest this year.
We will have both restaurants at Bacon Fest. Yes.
Awesome.
We've been going.
Trying to go. I'm not sure if I'm going.
6 or 7 years now. We've been going to Bacon Fest.
Not sure if I'm going yet.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. I'm working on tickets. Got some friends that are working on some stuff.
You want to work the Patty Long's booth? I'll get you.
I'll work the Patty Long booth.
Can I interrupt
Absolutely.
you for 30 seconds?
We're finishing up. But
Yep. No.
So, thank you so much, guys. So, if you guys are in the Chicagoland area, come on down to Kaiser Tiger. Go to Patty Long's. Get some food. Come to the Bacon Fest.
Bacon Fest will be there. Yes.
Be there.
Wonderful event.
It'll be awesome.
Sweet.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys didn't find that episode too boring. I know I didn't. I had a lot of fun recording it with him. We will chat a little bit more soon, hopefully. I will have gone to Bacon Fest by the time this episode has aired. So, hopefully you guys are following us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and you will see all that stuff, that all fun stuff. So, till next time, guys. If you want to be on the show, hit us up, manmeatsbarbecue.com. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to do product reviews for you guys. If you guys want to hear me review a product, tell me about it. I'll review it. I'll play with it. I'll cook with it. If it works, I'll tell you about it. If it doesn't, you'll never hear about it. So, once again, guys, it's Mikey with manmeatbarbecue.com.